All right, joining us on the show, former Pirate great East Carolina wide receiver Aundrae Allison to recap the football weekend and look ahead. Aundrae, how you doing today, man?
I am doing great. I am doing great. Looking forward to this weekend. Great victory for us, and looks like we got some momentum going right now.
Well, Aundrae, as someone who has to talk ECU football pretty much every day, I love the win itself, but what I love about it is it sets up a fun work week, and now we get to talk about a 2-1 team. BYU coming in here, ESPN2 Saturday night game. So just kind of build the excitement all week long, and that's what wins do for us on the outside and as a player too, right, Aundrae? Like it has to make things so much better in the locker room, on the practice field. Winning is fun, right?
Winning is definitely fun, especially when you win the way that we did. It felt really balanced. It looked really balanced. You get to see like players start to take a step in a direction. Um, that probably they was waiting to get into just based on who was going to play or whenever that moment would occur. But yeah, the win is just a great thing, like you said, to lead up to this big week of playing BYU on prime time and in a night game. It's going to be really really fun to see how everything builds up.
And look, I love points. Aundrae was a great wide receiver, but let's talk defense. The defense has not allowed a touchdown in 9 straight quarters dating back to the NC State game. And how about a shutout, Aundrae? We had one against the FCS opponent recently, but first shutout on the road, first shutout against an FBS opponent since all the way back in 2000. That was even before I got to ECU. So it's been a long time since we saw a performance like that, and just the pass rush. I think I counted 5 sacks the other night on the UB stat sheet, 9 tackles for loss, and even when they weren't sacking the quarterback, just constant pressure from the defense.
Yes, for sure. And we spoke about that a few weeks back. We talked about how the defense came to play definitely in the opening game. And they're just continuing the momentum, and that's always very scary for opponents whenever you see a defense like that is already clicking, and then the offense start to come on slowly, and it's just everything is going to mesh up really well. So it's going to be interesting as everything starts to synergize as one to see how we can put together a full game with all cylinders clicking.
And Aundrae, 10-0, at the half. It felt like it should have been a lot more. East Carolina got stopped on a couple of fourth downs. The Pirates missed a field goal, so you leave points out there on the field. Again, the defense picking up the slack, though, and you did kind of feel like that eventually the offense was going to get points going of the touchdown variety, and we saw that in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. You could feel it. I mean, the thing that I like is you see players, have breakout games like our receiver who caught for over 100, and then the other receiver with his 2 tugs. So it just feels like we was going into halftime where everybody had their head up high, knowing that we should have been up a lot more, and then just having that conversation, rebuilding, going back out there, keeping our composure, and then just hyper focusing on execution, and we was able to run off 28 points.
Big day for the Smith brothers, no relation, but Yannick Smith, 2 touchdowns. Good to see him get in the end zone. And then Anthony Smith, 7 catches in the first half, finished with 11 for over 100, as you said. And Aundrae, I'm bad about this. I think a lot of folks are kind of putting labels on receivers. And all we knew about Anthony Smith coming into ECU was he's fast. So we label him a burner, a fast guy. He's our Deshaun Jackson down the field or whatever. He's turned into quite the overall receiver. He'll make the tough catch for you to get the first down. He's obviously got that speed, but man, he's turned into a really good number 1 for us here.
Yeah, for sure. And those labels, they can kind of like limit you sometimes just based on who you have calling the plays or how open minded your coaches are.
Right.
The good thing about it is they get to see him in practice every day, so they have like more of an insight on the other things that he's really able to bring to the table. But like you said, being able to kind of like provide, a little bit more in his bag, so to speak, that does look very scary for opponents moving forward. And I love seeing like breakout games like that because he's definitely going to carry that into this BYU game.
Aundrae Allison, the football analyst and father, joining us on the show today. You said you got your son there with you?
Yeah, my 4 year, my 4 year son. He'll be at
Hey,
the game. He'll
he's
be at
having a
the
good
game this
time.
week. Oh man, yeah, he loves being in here with his dad. Yeah, it's always fun.
That's good to see, man. Yeah, so BYU coming up, Andre. We talked about it last week, just the atmospheres and how that can fire up a football player. I think the road atmosphere helped ECU this week to jazz them up a little bit. But man, nothing like what they're going to see Saturday night with BYU rolling into town. And what is that feeling like coming out of the locker room, Andre, going through starting lineups, going through the drills with that buzz in the stands around you?
It's very electric. I mean, I always compare pros and college, and I always feel like the college has the upper hand when it comes down to like just the energy feeling of everything. Very electric, very I feel like you be charged internally like to a level to where like it's hard to explain, but you just want to put on your best performance for the people who's coming to see you, spending hard-earned money, all the labor that goes into putting together a game, all the students who are there, and you just definitely want to represent for your hometown and all the people who know you and always supported you. So yeah, it's nothing like it. The pros cannot compare to that college football experience, especially big games.
Andre, getting to know you just from these chats. I don't know you personally. You're a very cool, calm dude. I've heard that people put on a different face, a different attitude when they're in the football uniform. But did you ever like? I've heard guys get too jacked up before the game or whatever. Like, do you have to find a balance? I guess in a big game like that, a big environment.
For sure. I always say it's like control theory. So, I mean, my strategy, honestly, would be to think about the amazing like path and journey that I had up to the point. So I would reflect on all the hardships that me and my family endured, reflected on, the opportunities that say like past generations didn't have for my family. And I just like took those two things that kind of like almost made me sad, but also a little angry, and I try to keep it balanced in the middle so that I'm able to go out there and maximize the opportunity. So yeah, I cried a lot before games, but like anger mad, and then once we went out there, I just had to like keep everything bottled up. I never tried to get like too high or too low.
Yeah.
Just stay as present as possible, because the moment you're thinking you're like really doing good, you're really not performing well, and it's like vice versa. So it's just that even keel, having the ability to control your anger and fury and let it like show throughout like the game through your talent and your skills.
Andre, one thing it's interesting hearing about RPOs depending on who you are. I talked to Holt Nailers about it as the quarterback, and he likes it. He kind of likes being in control of things. I talked to Coach Hud, former ECU defensive coordinator. He said they should call a legal man downfield just about on every RPO. So he hates them. How about from a receiver standpoint? How much of that was going on when you played, Andre, and what do you think about it in today's game? Because we see it a ton, right?
Yeah, it was happening. I mean, it was slowly taking over the sport. But like it's nowhere near like it is now. But I like it. I mean, I like it. I just feel like the defense always already had an advantage, so it kind of like helps balance the scales. Because, for example, like the defense, they can move around like this. They can move around side to side.
Right. Yeah.
We can't do all of that, So it's like you almost come off and you're still and you're the static movement of just going forward or go this way. That gives us an ability to be able to like offset them some,
Mm-hmm.
and confuse them more, right? And I'm sure Coach Hudd is going to say that it's always a penalty that you can definitely call on every play,
Yeah.
but it also just allows football to look a little bit more freer than it had been in the past, because just the
Right.
single back formations and all of that, it's just like I'm gonna run into you the hardest, and you in battle of the wheels. Now it's like creativity and innovation and schemes and strategies and all of that. So you're getting to see it like more in a scientific way, and it actually makes sense because they're also really big on the whole analytics thing that lines directly up with the RPO and how the style of play is right now.
No, that's a great answer. I honestly, as a fan, I love when a play breaks down and Josh Allen has to go throw a crazy pass. Or saw it with Bo Nix yesterday. He and his receiver kind of a busted play. His receiver Franklin just took off down the field and Bo chunked it. I like when a play breaks down like that, and that's an opportunity for guys like you to go make big plays.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, as a receiver before, when you run an offense like West Coast offense, everything is so like predicated on time and almost can like take away from your skills as a receiver, especially
Yeah.
like a lot of our skill set, we rely a lot on creativity, right? So you can't be but so creative if I have to be in this certain pocket like every time, So this, you can kind of like slow pace your routes a little more, play with speeds and go fast, go slow, and all of those things. So RPO, it just gives you like a little bit more freedom to like incorporate that creativity into the sport of football.
Andre, unfortunately, we're coming to you after a Vikings loss last night, but I wanted to text you last Monday. I figured you were probably up watching it, but I didn't want to text you late. But you said something last Monday about the voodoo that like the Vikings and the Packers have over the Lions and the Bears just from a historical standpoint. And I don't know what the hell happened in that game last Monday, but it was a complete flip. And I was sitting there watching it like, wow, Andre must have the voodoo doll out because the Bears know they're not supposed to win this game. It was almost freaky watching it the way it turned around like that, Andre.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Honestly, watching it, I feel like when the players went into halftime, like the Vikings player, they were like, "What are we doing losing to them?" And like the attitude coming out, you can kind of see it. Like the Bears almost shocked that they were up, like type of
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
or even in the game. So yeah, you're right. I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, sports is very psychological, pretty much more mental than physical. But yeah, you have those type of matchups that have a lot of historical content to where there be pockets of like momentum on both sides. So right now, the Vikings definitely have the momentum over the Vikings. I mean, over the Bears psychologically. It may shift, It may
Yeah.
shift. Who knows? But within the conference, it's just looking like Vikings and Packers will be at the top because Detroit they lost their coordinators and they're not looking too good.
But right now, well, the Vikings got an O line, a protection problem because McCarthy was getting battered last night, and we'll see what happens moving forward. I know they got what is it, Darisal, the great tackles out, so
Mm-hmm.
they got some issues there. And Andre, as much as we love you receivers and skill guys and playmakers, if the quarterback don't have time to look at you guys, there's a problem.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that alone, what you just said, Clint, is why we get the bad label prima donna because we're demanding and all of that. It's not the demand that the receivers are kind of like, it's not a bad thing. Like, we're pretty much saying everything literally has to go perfect for us to actually get the ball.
To even
Right.
have a
So,
chance, yeah,
to
right,
have, so when everything does go perfect and it doesn't come your way, it's frustrating. It's
yeah.
not like they can just hand you the ball. It's not like that. Like so, yeah, it's a prime example. JJ is. I'm sure they're gonna get it right, but yeah, without the O line, and it's really not good when you have a young quarterback. You don't really want him to kind of start being a little scary in the pocket and afraid to step up, but it can happen. The Panthers quarterback is definitely Bryce Young. He definitely was a little terrified after having that bad O line
Yeah.
for a few years. So you can see it the way that he plays.
I love the quarterback matchups tonight, Andre. We got a doubleheader Monday Night Football. First game, Baker Mayfield, the reclamation project there. He did get the Browns to the playoffs, but they kind of give up on him. Goes to the Panthers, not much happening. He found a home in Tampa and is thriving with their awesome receivers, including Emeka Egbuka, who had 2 touchdowns, the rookie last week from Ohio State. They take on the Texans. I love C.J. Stroud. I've loved him ever since I saw a post game, Andre, where he said, "I want people around here in Houston to be proud to wear their Houston stuff." He said, "As a Lakers fan, like I wear my Lakers shirt, and if they lose, people pick on me. I hate that feeling." Then I was like, "Damn, he understands what it's like to be a fan." I love that. So I've loved C.J. Stroud ever since then. But how about that matchup tonight? Bucks trying to get to 2-0, Houston trying to get their first win of the year.
Yeah, I agree. The quarterbacks just high level play on both teams. And then you also have great coaching because D'Amico and
Yeah,
Tampa coaches.
Todd
It's
Bowles.
going to be a chess game a chess match for sure. But I
Good
do say
defensive
that
coaches.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be hard hitting too because it's both of those teams are very physical. I do love just the Baker Mayfield story, just because I felt like he got dealt a bad hand when he was in Cleveland. And then you all you need is someone to truly double down and go all in and believe in you. And then he got that opportunity there in Tampa. But yeah, CJ Stroud, he's up next for sure. I look at him as like the perfect combination of being able to run, but also he wants to pass first, and just his accuracy, his ability to deliver in like tight pockets, and his boldness whenever he makes throws. I love seeing that out of young quarterbacks coming into the
It's
league.
Yeah, kind of crazy too. It's a doubleheader, and it's the same type of matchup. You've got the prodigy, the up next with Herbert with the Chargers, and you've got the reclamation project with Geno. He was given up on in New York. Ball's out in Seattle. Now Raiders fans are very happy to have him spinning it. He had a 300-yard game last week, so kind of a similar deal there. I know the folks in Vegas will be fired up to try to get to 2-0 tonight.
Oh, for sure. I love that story too as well with Geno. Justin Herbert, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. I love seeing those big quarterbacks play because it doesn't really do it justice like when you're watching on television, but just to see how he's able to scan the field at that size and those throws that he make, it's like it's so beautiful to watch, especially in person. But they're loaded. The Chargers are loaded. They should make a big run this year. They got all the pieces. They're loaded at every position, and only thing it's going to be is probably one of those AFC giant juggernauts like
Yeah.
Lamar or Allen that could possibly stand in their way.
Got a great head coach too, a championship coach.
For
Andre
sure.
will wrap it up with ECU BYU. Pirates last week go on the road as a favorite and handle business 38-0. This week they're a home underdog to BYU. BYU's 2-0. They're coming off a bye. East Carolina feeling really good about 2-1. So, what's your take on this one, Andre? What kind of game you talked about last week? I think the big boys from BYU coming to town. So, what's your opinion on this game?
Discipline, I feel like the discipline side of things, this game will pretty much decide everything. Like universities and teams like BYU, they're not going to be over the top when it comes down to being loaded talent wise with 4 or 5 star athletes. A lot of their play would just be trying to make you make a mistake and they make you pay for it because they're going to be really, really patient and they're going to execute at the highest level. So with that being said, I just want us to come out and just feel the game and not get too ahead of ourselves with this built up energy in the first half and go all out. And then the second half, we get deflated, et cetera, et cetera. But I do feel like we have a big advantage by them coming off that bye. And we're just carrying over from this week 2. We should be able to definitely like put a lot of emphasis on that and just keep everything balanced. Is what we're looking at right now is a balanced run game. We talked about that should be picked up too, but we did. You just had a good running game. It was a combined effort, and those 2 receivers, giving us that hope and that promise on the outside. So we got everything to beat them. It's just
Yeah.
limit the mistakes and just ride the wave pretty much.
Andre, love your insight. Love talking football with you, man. We'll do it again on next Monday.
Hey, sounds good. Looking forward to it, and I'll be seeing you this weekend.
You gonna be here this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, man. Yeah, stop by the studio. Bring the family. That'll be cool.
Definitely will. I appreciate you.